So in the wake of the 2020 election, you guys remember how much chaos was ongoing. One of the things that was really hard to wrap your mind around in the moment was the colossal misinformation and disinformation campaign that was being waged, really by Trump at the very top, but some other like very prominent psychopaths, where they really went all in on, no, Biden didn't win. It was rigged. It was stolen. Fake election. Like, they really, really leaned into that. And look, there was never any evidence to come to that conclusion, but the extent to which some Fox News hosts leaned in, the extent to which Newsmax, One America News Network, the way they leaned in, the way the MAGA types on social media leaned in, I mean, it was real. It was like a national hysteria was, falling on top of the right wing. They were losing it, man. Well, one of the things that happened in the fallout to that, of course, is what we had January 6th. The fake elector scheme didn't really work. But then there were lawsuits, right? You had Dominion and Smartmatic. A lot of these companies said, hey, we have their receipts. You guys absolutely defamed us. It's not close. It's not up in the air. It's not a question. You said things that were demonstrably untrue, and you did it with the intent to, maliciously smear us in vile fashion, ruining our name, and we're suing over it. So one of the things that happened, as I'm sure all of you remember, Fox News had to settle with Dominion and pay out $787 million. I think it's the biggest defamation payout of all time in U.S. history. Now, why did they pay out, and why did they pay out that much? Because what was about to happen in the court process was the little thing called discovery. It's like, okay, we're going to get all your text messages, we're going to get all your emails, all your internal correspondence. It's all going to be brought to light. We're going to know exactly what drunk-ass Janine Pirro is saying behind the scenes. We're going to know exactly what bow-tie-wearing-ass Tucker Carlson is saying. We're going to know what Hannity believes. Like, all this stuff's going to come out. We had little bits and pieces come out, and what we learned is it's just as it appears, right? Like, these hosts are actually way smarter than they pretend to be. Behind the scenes, they're like, Sidney Powell's fucking crazy. This one's fucking crazy. That one's fucking crazy. They're saying things that are untrue, but I don't want to piss off the audience. What should I do? I got to try to walk a tightrope here. I got to give in to them without fully giving it. It's just so, like, you can't trust a word any of these people say, because they made very clear, we actually understand that this wasn't stolen, but we're going to pretend like it kind of was. So they had to pay out $787 million. Guys, that was only one of the lawsuits. There are many, many more lawsuits. Okay? Look at this. Smartmatic and OAN, which is One America News, reach settlement in election rigging defamation case. Smartmatic has reached a settlement with One America News Network over claims that the news outlet amplified false claims that the voting systems company rigged the results of the 2020 election. Smartmatic has resolved its litigation against OAN through a confidential settlement, said attorney Eric Connolly, who is representing the voting company in the lawsuit. The attorney for OAN, Chip Babcock, hilarious name, confirmed an agreement between the parties, but also said the details were confidential. That's interesting. A stipulation of dismissal was filed today in U.S. District Court in the District of Columbia. Smartmatic still has lawsuits pending against Newsmax and Fox News for their amplification of election rigging claims. OAN, though, was perhaps the most aggressive in advancing Donald Trump's false claim that the 2020 presidential election was stolen. Trump's attorney general and election security expert, among others, rejected those claims, and the then president's campaign and his allies lost dozens of court cases challenging the results. In his lawsuit filed in 2021, Smartmatic alleged that as other news organizations publicly acknowledged that they had seen no evidence to support claims of election fraud or of voting machines switching votes, OAN mocked those news network organizations and doubled down on its attacks on voting machines. OAN knew its assertions about Smartmatic were not true. OAN had seen no evidence to support the assertions, but OAN chose to spread disinformation. Smartmatic provided election technology and services to Los Angeles County during the 2020 election, but not anywhere else in the country. In the lawsuit, the company said that OAN published report after report naming Smartmatic as one of the voting machine companies that had conspired to steal the election by switching votes from President Trump to current President Biden. It was all a lie, and OAN knew it. In response, OAN characterized the lawsuit as meritless and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so guys, there are so many things that come out. If you go deep on this, you learn so many amazing facts. Like, for example, Smartmatic only was in like one California district or county or whatever. And you had all these idiots on air saying that Smartmatic was in like all these different states. And it's just like, if you can't even get that basic fact right, how's anybody supposed to believe anything you say? You, of course, have the lies about Dominion and Smartmatic, about how Venezuela hacked the machines and Maduro helped Biden win. Actually, some people originally said Hugo Chavez. He was dead. He was dead. But they said, oh, he helped flip the election to Joe Biden. Insane. So what do we learn? There was some sort of settlement reached by this. I would love to know the details. I'm dying to know the details. Because we already know Dominion got Fox to pay out $787 million. Eventually, this is probably going to leak, and we're going to know. But my guess is they had to pay an arm and a fucking leg, bro. An arm and a leg. I don't know if they ever do this for these kinds of cases, but I would be surprised if they got like a percentage of the company moving forward. Right? Like, these guys, it's basically like a textbook case of defamation. Like, just textbook. They hit every single check mark on it. And so they got to pay up, bro. They got to pay up. Now, by the way, we're still not done. We're still not done. There's also, okay, so Dominion sued Fox. I don't know, but I kind of think they also sued OAN and Newsmax. But I know Smartmatic has a Newsmax lawsuit, and maybe I don't know, they might even have a Fox lawsuit. And in one of these cases, I think it's the Newsmax one. I think it's Smartmatic Newsmax. In that case, they have to turn over their correspondence. And I think it's for September of this year. We're going to get all that stuff that comes out. Like the trial is going to happen September of this year. And so these right-wing outlets are not done getting clonked over the head with truth. They're not. Look, let's be clear. Let's be clear. When it comes to free speech, nobody is more pro-free speech than I am. If you have somebody who sincerely and genuinely believes the election is stolen and here's why I think that and all this stuff, that's fine. That's totally fine. They have a right to say those things. They're wrong, but it's not defamation. It's not malicious, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you need to understand, and this is what's coming out with these various cases, is that these people knew they were lying and they did it anyway. And they did it anyway. And at that point, it becomes malicious. It becomes malicious. You know you're wrong. You know it's defamatory. You know it's dragging the name of this company through the mud and impacting potential future attempts at getting contracts and things of that nature. And they did it anyway. Guys, there's a big difference. When the intent is there is no more free speech argument. It doesn't exist anymore. This isn't just, oh, they sincerely are wrong. This is, they are malicious fucking liars who are parroting things that are comically untrue and wouldn't stand up to the most basic Google fact check, right? That's what's going on here. So I'd love to know how much they had to pay. For Dominion, it was $787 million. Fox had to pay them. Still got Newsmax coming up. OAN right here, they just settled. But the Smartmatic Newsmax one, we should get some juicy stuff coming out of that too. It's a real, like, look, if anything should give you some hope for the future, it should be this idea that there really has been consequences for some people vis-a-vis January 6th, the fraudulent elector scheme. Obviously, Trump's in court now over that. It won't happen before the election, but he's in court over that. And so I know that Trump is going to try again if he loses to do the same fucking thing, to try to stay in office again. But with the extreme consequences the right-wing media had to face, I think it's a lot less likely that they go along with him now. Because they just had to pay $787 million because they did that last time. And Newsmax and OAN, maybe they'll go along with it again. But remember, guys, Newsmax has even been doing disclaimers now over anything involving the 2020 election. Newsmax accepts the results as legal and final. They've been doing that now because of these lawsuits. So maybe they won't be as quick the next time. Says, Trump actually won again against Joe Biden. If that doesn't happen, they'll be more unlikely to go down that path. But who knows? Maybe they're so extreme and so psychotic that they can't help themselves. I guess we'll find out together. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.